So it is time to check out the new object platoon. This is the tier 5 tank platoon from the medium box of this event. Now on first glance, this vehicle does look like the IS series of heavy tanks. Does seem to have the same hull. The turret is a little bit different. Now this vehicle has a 100mm main cannon. The speed is 35 km/h, the reverse speed 14 km/h. It weighs 14 tons. For crew members, average penetration of 290mm, reload 8.5 seconds. The armor is about the same as we see on the IS heavy tank series. Has a weak spot in the lower plate and a weak spot in the driver's hatch, as well as the turret cheeks being easily penetrable. However, you can use the good old reverse hull trick with this vehicle, and I think that would be kind of funny to see in action. Now I was asked about the sensitivity that I use. Well, here you can take a look at the free camera sensitivity, 19% on tanks, and tank control sensitivity 32 and 31%, so it is on the lower side. And you usually say you can use any sensitivity that works for you. This works in my case, and been using it for a full year now, almost a full year now. So that was my sensitivity. And as for the graphics, well, I usually play on maximum 60 FPS and with ray tracing enabled, since it does make the game look good and doesn't run hot as well. So it's a very nice graphic option. Not many devices can actually run the game on 60 FPS with ray tracing. I have stable 60 FPS. I can go higher with 120, but I just don't use it. I don't really think I benefit much with the 120 FPS in this game. Anyway, let's see what this thing can do. Now, the IS heavy tank, it is good. It is decent, really. It has a very good gun, very good for its tier. Now this tank is a tier 5 vehicle, and initial expectation was something like the IS, but the main gun, I really like the main gun on this vehicle. It is really good. The main gun is really solid. You have APHEBC and high explosive. Only 2 shell types are available for this vehicle. Only 2 shell types are available, but honestly you don't need anything else on this tank. 100mm is still large enough to one-shot most vehicles, and the armor-piercing high explosive shell is definitely one of the better shells in low to medium tier. Oh look, a premium IS, well, the Christmas edition special IS. Well, I guess time for me to move a little bit forward, and let's go towards the base. Now the accuracy of this gun is, I would say, decent. Yeah, I mean, that was a very good hit there, right between the buildings. The accuracy of this gun seems to be good, seems to get the job done. Not the most accurate gun in the... It was an IS as well. Not the most accurate tier 5 gun, but it gets the job done quite easily. The reverse speed is good, so you can definitely take advantage of the reverse gear of the vehicle. I don't usually use a reverse hull for a specific reason. I don't really like to do that, because you still have the turret cheek weak spot, and if your tank is hit multiple times in the engine, it can just burn down until it's destroyed. So, well, the reverse hull can definitely do some benefit. At the end of the day, it is as vulnerable as any vehicle that you have. Angling does work. I prefer to actually have fast reflexes, and for some reason in this match my reflexes seem to be buffed for some reason. I'm able to actually aim properly this time around. I also love how the friendly is just trying their best. Well, that's... Wait, did just something hit me from the side? Okay, that was a little bit weird. That was a little bit weird. Okay, we have one more tank at the street. I have to be careful though, I don't want to get swarmed and jumped from the front. Okay, doesn't have any smoke grenades, which is fine. You don't really need smoke grenades in this vehicle. Take advantage of cover, take advantage of buildings and things like that. I would say the best thing about this vehicle is the main gun. It's the reload. It does reload very quickly. And I am a big fan of the fast reload that this gun has to offer. There we go. Fast reflexes, as I mentioned before. And I am slowly going to the enemy base. Hopefully we'll be able to capture it. Obviously the main gun on this vehicle is not stabilized. Would be kind of a new thing if the gun was stabilized. Usually vehicles of this period don't have a stabilized gun. Very few do have, but the object and the IS series heavy tanks it's not stabilized. Let's capture the base. Oh look, now that vehicle, for example, the SU-152 is a scary tank destroyer. It was a good hit as well. I always thought I would miss it, but I always look at the map. It's very important to look at the map. Okay, now let me reverse into safety. Let me show you one position that I like to go to on this very map. Not the perfect position, but you can protect the base very easily from that position, and from my point of view, it is a very important tactical position, which is right here. So right here you do have a little opening. You can see the opening on the enemy side as well, but you also have this little position right here, which is good if your tank has a very tough dirt. If you have very tough dirt, you will take advantage of that little cover there, and somehow my main gun got blown up. I don't know where the bombs dropped. I don't know how the main gun got blown up, but it got blown up. I find that pretty funny. So, there is a Sherman, a Christmas edition Sherman, and it was destroyed. And you can defend the base from incoming tanks from this position right here. Now that vehicle is part of this platoon, the SU-100P, which I will be driving in the next video. A very fun little tank. Has no armor though, and very vulnerable to high explosive shells. So when you're fighting this vehicle, just load high explosive and land the high explosive anywhere, and it will destroy the vehicle. Overpressure, basically. It can be overpressured by any medium-sized. Starting from medium-sized and end up caliber, it will be one shot with high explosive. So if you see that vehicle, use high explosive. It can actually be surprisingly tanky against armor-piercing shells. Even explosive armor-piercing shells can fail to one-shot that vehicle, which is kind of fun. But high explosive ensures that it will be destroyed in one hit. Artillery as well. And bombs. Speaking of bombs, I almost got revenge bombed here. I am like always a revenge bomb. That's why I call them a revenge bomber, because usually when you destroy someone, they take a bomber and they try to destroy you in a revenge. That's where the name revenge bomber comes into play. Another tank destroyed. Destroying a tank destroyer. Interesting. And 8 destroyed vehicles in this battle. And the battle is still not over, we still have a little bit more left here. There's also a thing called a revenge fighter. If you're a light armor vehicle, and if the enemy uses a fighter, they can use the fighter to destroy your vehicle. Which is also a one thing that is a thing in the game. Well, 8 destroyed vehicles, not bad, and 1 aircraft, so technically 9 destroyed vehicles in total. That was a good match. I do like how this tank performs, surprisingly good performance. Even though it might appear underwhelming, I would still say that this vehicle does have unique aspects to it. And let's roll to the next match with the object. Now you might be thinking, well, it does look like an IS, why is it called an object? Well, I mean, I guess it has to have some difference. The main difference is the turret. However, it does play like a IS, so you can basically expect, I would say, the same performance. Only the shell, I think, is much better on this vehicle than on the IS. The IS doesn't have APHE-BC, I believe. It has APHE, which is still good, but I would say APHE-BC is definitely the shell that many players will prefer in this tier. There's only a few shells that I would say I would definitely change. Oh look, M50 Rat, M56 Rat. Somehow didn't destroy it in one hit, but yeah, the machine guns did do the job. It does have one machine gun on the turret. Oh look, a reverse hull object. As I mentioned on the start, reverse hull is nice, but pointless since you can get one shot through the turret. And oh look, a IS-2, also one shot from through the lower plate. So, oh, I got hit. Let's reverse. Okay, that was actually surprisingly bounced. Now this is a tier 5 vehicle, and it means that you can fight up to tier 6 and I think tier 7 vehicles. So there's a chance that you might see a mouse with this thing. If you see mouse, well, try to avoid it or try to shoot at it from the side, since you can penetrate the side armor of the mouse. From the front, I don't think you can penetrate the mouse, maybe through the turret cheeks, but again, I don't think that you can penetrate the mouse with this vehicle, so there are some things that you should definitely be careful around. Mouse is one of them. Oh look, a T-25, and yeah, no problem to penetrate anything else though. And this is such a satisfying vehicle to use. APHE shells in general are very satisfying to use because you just need to penetrate once. You do penetrate once and that's it. Good chance that the enemy vehicle will be destroyed in one single hit, which again is what the armor piercing high explosive shell is designed to do. Secondary explosive filling penetrates and basically does absolute chaos on the inside. You definitely do not want to be hit by this in an actual tank. You will have a bad day. I mean, depends. If the shell lands right on top of you, you will not feel a thing. In any case, I do not want to be inside of a tank that gets shot by an APHE shell, because if it doesn't kill me in one hit, I will have a bad day, alright? I'll have a bad day in both cases, but yeah. Being inside of a tank that gets penetrated is nasty. When you go back to like World War II, and when you see the destroyed tanks, yeah, that's some brutal stuff, that's for sure. There's a lot of documentaries that talk about tank battles I really find interesting. It wasn't actually that long ago, only like 80 years ago, which is long for most of us, but on a grand scale of things, that happened like yesterday, which is kind of incredible how fast time goes. But time for me to move a little bit forward here, and this is the second position that I like to go to. Right around this little rock. And there is a M4. Oh, that's a chunk. And yes, you can penetrate a chunk from the front. If you aim at the turret ring, you should be able to destroy the chunk in one hit. The M6 chunk has basically a huge ring, which is a very big weak spot. Has almost no armor there. And the top portion of the turret on the trunk is also a weak spot. Much smaller, but it's also a flat weak spot. But if the trunk isn't pulled down, it is a very dangerous vehicle. One of my all-time favorites. Heavy tanks, premium heavy tanks in the game. So, the Object 248 is actually a very decent vehicle. It does almost look like the IS series heavy tanks, but it has its own charm to it, and it's definitely a free tank, free premium tank, and as always I definitely encourage everyone to try and get the free premium platoons, because honestly they're very nice, and they're overall very fun to play, and they have some benefits like extra experience and extra silver per battle. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe, and with that being said, stay safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.